12-ounce sports. It's August 5th, 9:01 local time here. Great White North. Cody Jansen with you. Show brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Sign up today, MyBookie.ag. We got hockey back. That's awesome. I'm not going to complain. It's been full days of hockey. And you know what? We got a good guest here right away. We're going to dive into the broadcast side of things because there's been some questionable choices, but also I think there's been some positives. So please help me welcome my guest, Steve Valansky, onto the show. Steve, how is it going on this Wednesday morning?
It's perfect, Cody. Absolutely perfect.
Perfect because there's hockey back, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. We got a game in an hour. It doesn't get any better than that.
No kidding. No, it's been... How many games have you caught in the past 4 days?
I've only missed watching part of one. So I'd say that's... What is that, 23 out of 24? I don't know. I lost count. They said there'd be no math, so that's the best I can do on that one.
Yeah, who's counting at this point anyways? The only ones that I've really not fully checked out on, but honestly haven't caught as much as I probably should, are the round robin ones. Because those, I don't know, there's not the emotion, there's not the interest that I have in those. But I got to ask you about the broadcast. I mean, yourself, you're all over it. Big Mouth Sports on Twitter's where people can find you. You know what? Hey, you spent some time at a baby blue blazer. I know we talked about that last time as well. But Steve, what have you liked about these broadcasts so far? What's been something that, you know, maybe the NHL, Sportsnet, NBC has changed up and you're like, oh damn, that's not bad?
Wow, that's a good question. I thought you were going to lead with what haven't I liked, so I was all ready for that one.
That's coming up.
Well,
that's coming up. We haven't.
Fair enough, man. Hey, it's your. You do whatever the hell you want. It's your show. When we do our podcast, my partner and I, Paul Hemming.
Inside the truck, by the way. Unreal.
That's right. Inside the truck. He's the broadcast director for the Carolina Hurricanes on Fox Sports Carolinas. We kick around a lot of things about what we like and what we don't like in these shows. Unfortunately, one of our defaults, I think, as broadcasters, is what we don't like. But what I do like, I mean, I absolutely adore the fact that we can watch 6 games a day. I mean, it's never going to get better than that in our lifetime, my friend. I like, and this is kind of a concept answer, I like when networks and broadcasters and even announcers try new and different things. I think that if you don't keep pushing an envelope, you're never going to get any better. Part of the problem with that, of course, comes when you push the envelope and it doesn't work, you can't keep pushing. And I think that's where they run into trouble.
That's fair. Now let's move along to the more negative side of the broadcast, because for me, and I'm just going to pick out one thing here. I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Why are the crews so thin? Why only like a play-by-play guy and an analyst for 3 games a day? Why wouldn't they do more? Is this a financial thing? Is this pure, people didn't want to do it? Because for me, that I don't want to say I'm getting tired of, because honestly, I think Chris Cuthbert's a great play-by-play guy. There's no question about it. But we could use a little bit of variety. Am I wrong saying that?
Well, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is 3 games come out of Edmonton, you're getting tired of Chris and Louis DeBrusk calling all 3 games.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to see others involved, and I totally get it. You can't get TSN guys. Like there's so much contractual stuff that none of us have right in front of us. But I wouldn't mind maybe hearing a different voice, maybe getting a different analyst on here or there. Like I find the NBC broadcasts have been better from that standpoint, and they've had different color guys, they've had different people between the bench, they've had different play-by-play announcers, things like that.
Right, and you know what? I love your point, and there'd be a variety of reasons. First off, is you only want to bring a certain number of broadcasters into the bubble, and Sportsnet is doing it differently than NBC. Mike Emmerich is calling games from his house in Michigan. A lot of the NBC broadcasters are not in the rink. Sportsnet broadcasters Louie and Chris are in the rink. We see them every game. There's one good thing about a broadcast is that when you've got the guys in the rink, you're going to put them on camera. So the two broadcasters, Sportsnet and NBC, have approached it very differently. Sportsnet clearly only wants to bring a certain number of broadcasters into the bubble. And quite frankly, as the playoffs go along, it's going to augur well for us in Canada because with Chris and Louie in the building, they will glean so much more information than somebody like a Mike Emmerich calling it off tube will. And quite frankly, it's going to be a better game call. So I think in Canada, we're very fortunate that way, that we've got Jim Houston and Craig Simpson in the rink in Toronto, Chris and Louie in the rink in Edmonton.
Okay, that's an interesting point because, as you said, they're in there, but I feel like from an analyst perspective, I get it. There's no anyone between the benches in Edmonton. Rogers Place has its own setup. I just feel like, I'd rather see more variety, but that's my point. Now let's go to the intermission panels as well. You've done a lot of producing and stuff. Is Sportsnet taking the easy route by having people out of the building? Because when I watch, NBC and they've got their panels in studio, they're physically distanced, they're following all rules and regulations. I find that a lot more, engaging. I'll stick to watching it for longer versus watching a glorified Zoom meeting. I don't know. Maybe that's me being picky and harsh. What's your thoughts on it?
No, it's not you being picky and harsh, and I think glorified Zoom meeting is probably a really good three-word phrase for it. I would say this. I would say that Sportsnet's panel, and you used the phrase easy way out. I didn't. But now that you've used it, I really think their intermissions are so lazy. I just can't think of another word for it. It's just, what's the minimum amount of work we can do in 18 minutes to keep the guy from turning the channel? I mean, what plays did you like? Oh, okay, we'll do those two roll-ins. Okay, we'll do these two roll-ins. There are 1,000 different ways you can entertain me in an intermission. And it makes me sad to think that they've had meetings about this, and this is what they came up with. A quad split and guys sitting on a desk and really not telling us anything that we didn't see over the previous 20 minutes of hockey. I will die without understanding that broadcasting lack of creativity. I will.
It made no sense to me, and I don't know if disappointed is the right word. I feel like, a parent really trying to shame their child here, but I was disappointed to see it. They've got the setup in Toronto. I mean, you know it, I know it. They could easily have people in studio. They could safely physical distance them, and they could put out a much better product. We all know that, and I don't know if it comes down to the analysts they've chosen. I mean, me and Adam have both been pretty vocal on, who we enjoy and who we think is a very questionable choice to be put on a panel of a Stanley Cup playoff intermission. But yet again, from a talent perspective, are you seeing the same thing as us when these people are not as excited for playoff hockey as the average fan? And if I'm watching a broadcast, I want that to relate to what I'm doing. If it's game one of the Stanley Cup playoff qualifiers, I want the broadcast to have energy through the roof. I want them to emulate what we're feeling in our house when we're watching that game.
Cody, I am not easily stunned by things on television anymore, but when they came on with game one, I was absolutely stunned with the lack of energy that I saw from that studio. I can't even get my head around what they were delivering. Now, I do understand that if you and I were talking face-to-face, we would have a lot more energy than we have over the phone or over a Zoom call. I get that. I understand that. But you are a professional broadcaster. Your job is to generate that energy and excitement. Your job is to generate that for me, the viewer. That's what gives the viewer the energy and the excitement. There's no crowd. There's no fans in the stands. So where am I going to get my energy? Well, geez, it better be from somewhere. It's going to be from the play on the ice. And for those 18 intermission minutes, it better be from you in the studio. I was stunned that is what they delivered on the first night. There's no other way for me to say it. I still can't get my head around it, and I can't get my head around it. There's no other way to say it.
I knew you'd have something good to say there, because it's that was just one thing that stuck with me. Is like, are you kidding me? Like, how is this? I don't know. How is this what got put out? But that's longer debate could be had on that. Is there anything else in the broadcast world that you're picking out as the NHL could do better? Or not the NHL, I mean Sportsnet, NBC, whoever's producing it should do better. I've got one thing in mind, but I want to know from your fact, what's the biggest thing that needs to be, or can be improved, needs to be improved?
Well, my partner, Mr. Hemming, and I kicked this around this week on Inside the Truck, and that jib camera that's on the track that NBC is hell-bent on using, and Sportsnet is using it too. And it's basically the high shot that looks like cable cam, but it's not. It's on a track that goes back and forth, but it's on a jib, which is a weighted camera that can swing. And I understand that, the NHL says, hey, we've got 32 cameras. I think it would be nice if we used all 32. And this one's really going to be the gem. This one's really going to be the jewel. Well, here's a newsflash for you guys. It's not the gem, and it's not the jewel. If you want to use that jib camera as a replay, if you want to bring that back off tape to analyze from now till Kingdom Come, go right ahead. That is not a live camera. That camera should never, ever be used live. It can't react fast enough. It's very disorienting. It goes from a play shot, camera 2 in Canada, camera 1 in the States, that's the angle we're all used to a toppy shot that includes too many players or not enough players, and it is really disorienting. And quite frankly, I'd be happy if I never saw it again live in a broadcast.
It looks like something they would use for the Bahamas Bowl. Like it's the, I don't know if I want to call it lazy or not, but it's such a joke because half the time it can't even follow up to the play. It doesn't react fast enough, as you said. It's zoomed out so you can't even see. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense of why they're so bound on it. And here's my thoughts. I'd love to get your point as well. I mean, from a former player's perspective, I want to see cameras almost behind the net, and I want to see Connor McDavid pick that puck up from behind the net and go on a rush, and I want it to be following him. I want to see what he sees almost. Like, I don't know why a camera like that hasn't been implemented, and it doesn't have to be used live. I mean, that's a perfect replay camera of let's see what Connor McDavid saw when he picked the puck up behind the net, went 200 feet and roofed one. Like, how is they've got unlimited space to put cameras, Steve. That's my thoughts. Why have we not seen anything other than, one or two new camera angles?
Cody, that's just brilliant because you took the words right out of my mind, because what I was going to say was you've played a lot more hockey than I have, and you would look at the game differently than I would. So for me as a television producer to say this is what we should see, well, that would only be me as a fan and as a TV savvy person giving that information. You, as a player, would look at a game completely different, and you would want to see different things. But what you just talked about with Connor McDavid, that's right. That's absolutely right. There are so many opportunities here to say, look at this player, look at Austin Matthews, look at John Tavares, look at Connor McDavid, look at Leon Draisaitl. Do you know how many different ways we can now analyze guys and isolate guys so that we can show the viewer something different that we can never, ever show on a Stanley Cup playoff game where we don't have these camera angles? And instead, it just seems to be the same old sausage grinder, except for this jib camera, which none of us want to see anyway. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that we haven't sat down and said, look, this is an opportunity that we will never get again. How do we take advantage of it? I think the ball was in their hands, and man, they dropped it and kicked it 50 feet down the road, and they're never going to get it back.
Oh, Oh, Steve, we are on the exact same level on that. I got one more for you, and I tweeted it out last night because it irritates me to a certain extent. Why would, and this was a Sportsnet game, I believe, oh man, I think it was Vancouver, Minnesota last night. Maybe it was a different one, whatever, doesn't matter. But, okay, they've obviously, like, they've got the games on delay. That's normal, I mean, for the NHL, but I believe that they're on a little bit extra, longer delay for these playoffs just because there's no fans and they want to make sure they got everything perfectly right. But they're bleeping out what they want, and that's fine. But who on earth is deciding to get close-ups every time John Tortorella, Michael Furlan, whoever wants to drop an F-bomb or start going on a tirade, Paul Maurice, doesn't matter. Who's giving Paul Maurice the thumb, or not Paul Maurice, who's giving, the producer, whatever, the thumbs up to use these? Because all along they're like, oh yeah, we don't want to hear what players are saying on the ice, but yet again they think it's acceptable to like do that. Like, come on, I either want to hear it or I don't. Like, that's it's not even a tease at this point. It's just irritating. It's like, alrighty, are we gonna be authentic or are we just gonna play around and I don't know, shit or get off the pot if it's me.
I see. So you're saying if we're not going to hear what Tortorella is saying, we don't want to see because we can clearly read his lips? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. That's just one thing that irritates me. It kind of frustrates me in a sense of, like, why are they like, oh, this is what's happening, but we're not going to let you hear it because, we just want to give you the half-ass experience.
Well, obviously they can't let us hear it because on network television, and they are on a 7-second delay, and rather than muting the profanity, what they're doing is scrubbing it, and we talked about it again on Inside the Truck this week. They're scrubbing the audio, so basically what it's doing is it's scrambling it, so it sounds like it's gibberish, so it's not a straight-up mute. So the question comes, and your point is about, let's say Tortorella yelling at his player and they're going back and forth, which they were on the bench, or Paul Maurice being extremely upset about what was happening on the ice with the Jets. It's a real slippery slope because if you're producing a world feed, which they are doing, which means you have to be equally balanced between showing this team and that team, this team and that team. You can't focus, even though the Leafs are winning the game, you want to show as much Blue Jackets as you can Leafs. So in that situation, I would say you have to show Torts yelling at the guy because that's part of the Blue Jackets story. And even in his post-game comments, he talked about, hey, I'm not even going to break this game down for you guys in the media because it doesn't matter, and we're just going to move on to the next game. So to me, that's all part of his personality. Now, is it frustrating to know that he's saying things that we can't hear? Yeah, it is. And between me and you, Cody, I think 10, 15 years from now, we're going to be able to hear that somehow. I don't know how, but they're going to figure out a way that whether it's a separate channel, whether we paid for it, whatever it is, I don't know. So I think that's a real slippery slope for a broadcaster because it's part of the story of the game. Paul Maurice being really upset about Mark Trexley is a big part of that game. But how do you show that? But you're only showing it in part. And I understand viewers' frustration there as well. I really do.
Now, I might have actually misworded that question because, you hit the nail on the head for most of it. My bigger concern with that, or not concern, but problem, is, Sportsnet using Michael Furlan last night in a 1-2 second highlight package saying fucking bullshit, or melting it, right? And so they completely, it's not even necessary, but they're throwing it in there. And that's for me, it's like, oh man, why don't we just get a live audio feed? But I totally understand what you're saying. Steve, I appreciate your time. Hey, let's pump up Inside the Truck because I know you got another episode. Oh, is it dropping today, actually? I think it's today or tomorrow, correct?
It's already out there right now, baby.
Oh, man.
You can listen to it as soon as you're done.
See, I must have slept in, missed it. No, it's been unreal. You've had some great guests on as well. How much fun has it been podcasting? You and Paul have great chemistry. I don't know how you guys, know each other really or not, but it's been awesome to listen to and get that behind the scenes perspective because I feel like for any broadcaster or hockey fan, in general, we don't have that knowledge. So it's been great. What's it been like for you?
It's been an absolute blast. I've been bugging Paul about it for 3 years, and about 2 months ago he said, hey, let's do it. And I've known and when we go for coffee, it's like we just rev it up, like the siren in the rink, and we just go, and the people bringing us coffee will sometimes look at us and go, oh my God, what business are you guys in? You're just talking and laughing and telling stories, and so that's all this podcast is it's just him and me going back and forth, just like we do when we have coffee, just like we've done for 35 years when we just sit down and talk about what's going on in the business. And hopefully the beauty is somebody listening to our Inside the Truck podcast can hear that and learn a little bit about TV as we go along and kind of how it all works.
That's unreal. Steve, I appreciate you taking the time as always. Always great insight. Be sure to go check out the podcast as well, Inside the Truck. It's available pretty much wherever you can get your podcast. Steve, once again, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Cody.
Steve Lansky, you'll follow him on Twitter at Big Mouth Sports. Boy, his stories, unreal. Oh, hit the intro a little bit too early there. I'm sure you probably caught that. Whatever. All right, let's take a quick commercial break coming up. Let's get Adam Ermantrout on the line. Talk some NHL playoffs because, hey, 4 days of nonstop action. It has been unreal. All right, we're going to be back after this. Okay, everyone, time to listen up. I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. We have officially found the drink of summer. Refreshingly different cocoa vodka and rum is the original refreshing mixed drink in a can that combines real natural coconut water from the Philippines, triple distilled vodka or smooth Puerto Rican white rum, and a splash of sparkling water. Cocoa vodka and rum, started by two Canadians with a plan, come up with a healthier summer drink that's made with quality ingredients. Ditch those boring seltzer waters that are full of fake flavors and up your drink game. Talk about a vacation in a can. Cocoa vodka and rum, available at BSW Liquor in Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary, Sherwood Park, all over the map there. And they recently launched in a ton of states down south for our friends down there. You got Michigan now, Connecticut, Maryland, Delaware, Mass, and Maine. Don't forget, you can also enjoy online. EnjoyCoco.com. Order through there. Enjoy the Cocoa life with World Hockey Report. Go pick yourself up a case today. Love seeing all the support out there. Unreal stuff. I kid you not. I mean, escape with cocoa vodka and cocoa rum, the original refreshing vacation in a can. Check them out at enjoycoco.com. This stuff is unbelievable. It's going to change your summer and especially how you're drinking that. Alrighty, let's bring on our next guest here. Adam Ermantrout. Yes, reoccurring guest of the show. Always great insight. We got to talk about some NHL stuff. This interview is well brought to you by VerberoHockey.com, the best in custom team apparel, jerseys, whatever you want. Pro stock, you want to go top of the line, pro jerseys, Verbero's got you. Sublimated, you need something new for your beer league hockey, VerberoHockey.com is going to hook you up. Adam Ermantrout, our guest here. Buddy, what is up? How's it going?
Not bad, man. How are you?
Doing good. Keeping alive, enjoying now that we finally have sun outside. able to get on the golf course when I'm not watching hockey, of course. Have you got out on the green swinging the sticks?
Oh, I'm at least like 35 rounds, man.
That's not bad. That's not bad. What's your handicap? What are you shooting right now?
I'd give myself like probably like a 14 or 15. I think like also the course we play at, it's like the hardest one in the city.
Humble brag.
So that changes things. But yeah, I'd like to say like 14ish.
Okay, obviously you're a big member golf guy now, not a big deal, stepping up in the world, getting those grown up things done. Is there any hidden gem golf courses in Saskatchewan that people need to check out?
My favorite, like just like if you want like a good course, Waskasoo's up there. We golfed at the Goulet in Regina, like give that one a shout out. But for the most part, I think Waskasoo, and then I go to Riverside in Saskatoon, and that's like probably one of the top ones. But
not bad, not
expensive.
A bad course.
Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, I mean, golf's an expensive sport in general. That's what is so great about it. But obviously, hey, we've got some hockey going on. So, yeah, had to get you back on to talk about it. Let's start in the West. Hawks Oilers. Man, Hawks came out buzzing. And then they looked like they were 40 years old in game number 2. I mean, that was kind of McDavid versus the Hawks in general from my perspective. What did you think was the big difference between game 1 and 2?
Well, I mean, Edmonton decided to play in game 2. Like game 1 was one of the worst games I've seen them play all year, and it seemed like in the regular season, every time they'd lose, they'd come back just like a completely different team. And Mike Smith deserves some of the blame for game 1, not all of it, obviously, but I think McDavid heard all the outside noise, and he started game 2, and it was just like, okay, I'm taking over here. And I mean, some like the depth guys like James Neal, Alex Chason, Josh Archibald got moved up the lineup, and they actually played really well. Like the top pairing of Klefbom and Larson, I still am not sure really what they're doing, but like I think when your captain starts out like that, then you're ready to go.
You got to follow lead, of course, but man, it got scary for a little bit. Like the Hawks end up tying it up. Yes, I mean, the Oilers come back. They end up winning it pretty handily. From my perspective now, and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. If Mike Smith starts game 2, is the score, the same, closer? Because I really feel like, and I don't want to give Mike Smith a free pass or anything, but I feel like if he's playing again, he's going to bounce back. But right now, it's Koskinen's net, and Mike Smith probably won't see a game again, and he probably doesn't have much confidence.
No, I agree with that. I think, like, the first game I'm not going to put on him. Like, they allowed 2 2-on-1s in the first minute of the game, honestly, before he even got a shot, or before the McDavid goal in the first game. But, yeah, he definitely would bounce back. The issue with him is, like, it seems like the whole year, too, he's either a 960 goalie or he's an 820 goalie, right? Like, and in the playoffs, you can't really take the risk. And I think Koskinen's more likely to just give you 9-10, 9-15 consistently. And he was one of the best goalies in the league in January and February. But, I think if you go back to Smith, then you're in trouble somewhere in the series.
Can I say something? I want to. Oh, man. And I don't want to call out media members. I don't want to sound like the most negative person in the world. But everyone keeps talking about Koskinen's KHL numbers, but they do zero research. There is nothing more frustrating than that. It's an absolute joke. Everyone's like, oh, he had a 950 save percentage in the KHL playoffs. Well, no shit. He's on SKA or SK, whatever, St. Petersburg. Like, they got the best team in the league. It's absolutely rigged for them to go to the finals every year because they're making the most money. They're whatever government run. Like, I don't know. Like, I think there comes a point in time where we can say, hey, let's drop those and let's stop using that as like, oh, this is the reason why Koskinen could be one of the best playoff goaltenders in the league, but Dave Tippett doesn't like him. Like, let's pump the brakes there a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I honestly don't think Koskinen's like a bad goalie. Like, he had a pretty good year, obviously a little shaky at times, but the numbers were there at the end, and that's like kind of people bringing up Mike Smith's numbers, how he was like the statistically the best playoff goalie ever, and it's all from the boring Coyotes run in 2012, 8 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's a little whack to me, but I don't know. Haven't looked into it that much. All right, moving along though. That's enough. Well, I guess we might as well get your prediction. I mean, like is this over in 4? Does it go 5? Do you think the Hawks have a chance to steal another?
No, I think Edmonton kind of turned the corner there and realized that it was the playoffs, and I think it's 4. It's hard to beat a team like 3 straight, but like Corey Crawford doesn't look right, and like the Hawks are still the team that picked 3rd overall last year. I know they ended up winning the lottery, but the team that sold off at the deadline because they were going to be in a bottom 5 spot or a bottom 10 spot, and they're still the 12th seed, right?
Okay, how bad's that Hawks second unit of their power play? It is atrocious.
Like that's why like the kind of top unit stays out for about a minute 45. But yeah, I don't know who they're rolling out there even.
It was painful to watch. That was tough. Okay, moving along. Jets Flames. Flames won yesterday. They picked up the big Game 3 win. Kind of weird how they made them play like back-to-back days. Like I don't know. Like I feel like just fix the schedule so they play every other day. What's the point in making them play back-to-backs? But whatever. Nonetheless, Flames win. I guess their top guns kind of half-ass showed up. Gaudreau gets an empty netter. But like end of the day, Cam Talbot is the reason that this series is 2-1 in favor for the Flames, because I get it. There's no Scheifele, there's no Laine. Like, I mean, the Jets have a million injuries, but the Flames still are not playing good.
No, I agree with that. And I mean, the biggest thing for me was when I picked the Jets in 5, it was okay, Connor Hellebuyck will do what Connor Hellebuyck did all year, and Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler are kind of playoff guys and better than Monahan and Gaudreau. And I was still like a little shoddy, like, okay, Winnipeg's second line center is Cody Eakin, and he was basically picked up for nothing at the deadline. And now it's like Andrew Kopp and Cody Eakin and Adam Lowry, which aren't really anybody's top 3 centers anywhere. But no, I think the Flames have their power play's been good. Connor Hellebuyck hasn't really won the Jets games, which he had to do all year. And
Who was Buddy who got a puck in the face there? That was brutal.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, man, he was rocking a cage. Oh, geez, name's slipping past me right now. No, Big D man, number 3. I'm trying to think right now. I'm drawing.
Oh, Pullman.
Maybe it was. Yeah, I think so. He blocked a shot with his face. Hockey guy move. That was unreal. It's been a pretty chippy series. I like seeing it. Honestly, this has been the most fun to watch. Not because like, hey, I grew up watching the Flames. They were closest to where like I grew up. But like this feels like the most intense series, to me at least. And I feel like there's some hard.
Vancouver one's getting there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Minnesota thinks they're tough for some reason. Well, Vancouver's not that tough either, other than Ferland. Great guy, by the way, and like, I mean. Yeah, I got to spend a couple weeks with him when I was younger, and he was ripping up the dub. So like he was a great guy. Shen was a great guy, and so like I know how they're respected as teammates. But like, what are you doing, pitchforking a guy on the bench? And if you're one of those clowns who are going, "Oh, it doesn't happen if he doesn't grab his stick," like that's the worst excuse
Let go of your stick
ever.
Then and give him a penalty, like
Yeah, like that's literally like just saying like, oh, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you've got free reign to T-bone them at the next intersection. Like it's just not how it works.
I think like going back to Calgary for a second, I think for them too, like Milan Lucic was paid $6 million a year or whatever to maybe put up 40 points in the regular season and then do his thing in the playoffs. And I don't think anybody thought to go this south this quickly, where it's like 15 points in the regular season, but he's a playoff guy, and I think him and Tkachuk, like Tkachuk was asking Wheeler to fight before he even hit Scheifele the other game, and like those guys are guys that are going to bring the Flames in it, and they were missing that last year. They obviously got pushed around, and now it's like Mangiapane and Bennett and Lucic. They're kind of getting like tougher, and like there's nobody like Lucic in the league.
Well, Ryan Reeves.
Like Reeves and Wilson to a point, yeah.
Okay, no, that's totally fair, and like I've said it before, Kachuk stirs the drink for this team. He is the motor. You know,
he's their best player.
They'll 100%. They'll go as far as he takes them. And I bring up this question again because it runs through my mind every single time I watch this team, Adam. Honestly, and I'm dead serious here. Would you trade Johnny Gaudreau for Brady Kachuk?
Probably, yeah. Like I don't think Ottawa's not accepting that, but like, why wouldn't you? Like, you'll sacrifice maybe 20 or 30 regular season points, but when you get to the playoffs, like, you got two of those guys on the same team. Although that might be getting a little much, though. They can barely handle one there.
I would agree with that. I don't know if like, you think Ottawa's the one turning it down. Okay, well, I don't know. Like, I think if Brady Tkachuk is a heck of a hockey player, I think he'd be great. Also, that Jordan Greenway is just an absolute shit disturber, and I love it. Him and Eric Stahl have been the most notable Minnesota Wild, which shows how their roster's looking. Like, that is a depleted team if I've ever seen one.
Mm-hmm. They're Minnesota, right? Like, you don't really look at them and go, like, you're not scared of them. Like, they play a certain way, and I think that Evason came in, and obviously he was an intern, but then he got that tag removed, so now he's their full-time coach, and seems like the guys really like him there and all that. But like, they're Minnesota, they're maybe good enough to win around, but it's been like that for how long? 10-15 years.
Has there ever been a coach or a GM with the interim tag who hasn't like stuck around? Because I can't think of one. Like, it just seems like the stupidest thing. He's our interim coach.
Hitchcock kind of in Edmonton, I guess.
Yeah.
Although that was kind of like he wanted to like come home and coach the Oilers, and the Oilers were a joke. Like, like it wasn't like
they would have taken the first fan who would stand on the bench.
Yeah, like at that point, it was just like, whatever. We'll let Ken coach the boys for a bit, see what we can do. Like, obviously, it wasn't gonna.
Okay, Canucks and Wild, like, it's a cool series. Do you have anything to throw in here? Because I really don't.
No, I think Vancouver will still win in 5. Like, they were terrible in Game 1. Like, I was listening to Vancouver Radio or something, and they said that the best chances came from Hughes when Stalock robbed him, and then Myers when he shot through a screen. Like, they didn't have any like high danger chances at all.
No, it's Vancouver Radio and media. What a group! I don't know if you follow along on Twitter. Like, literally every single day, they're just imploding, trying to fight each other. They act like, oh man, what a childish group. I love it. I mean, that's Twitter drama, or I'm all here for it. Okay, Yotes and Preds. Darcy Kemper, my man. Like,
he got no help today.
No, I know, but he was good. He was good in Game 1. There's a couple he's gonna want back. There's a couple he got pieces of, and like, I mean, great student boy. Like, he's got to outplay Saros Serene. Like, that's a given. But like,
I think Nashville is just too underwhelming to win a series.
That's fair, and like, I feel like they can grind it out. This is definitely a series I see going 5.
Yeah, I said Yotes in 5.
I didn't even remember.
God.
I got Yotes. I got Yotes in 5 as well. For that one, I had Van in 4, Oil in 3, Jets in 5.
I think like the Preds, like, they relied so much on Roman Josi this year, and like Saros was good today, and like I thought he was good in Game 1. He got pretty unlucky on 1 or 2. I think Arizona just like is more dialed in Nashville. Like, Johansson's pretty underwhelming, and Arvidsson and Forsberg haven't really done much this year, and Kyle Turris got traded there and was awful, and they just have made a lot of moves that haven't really worked out.
Okay, let's go over to the East now. Carolina. I had them to win in 4. They won in 3. That was an absolute walkover. The Rangers are a joke. They don't have, the playoff grit. They've got a couple of decent scores, and that's it. Like, I get it.
Those guys were horrible.
Yeah, they were brutal. And if I hear one more person say, "Oh, well, if Shesterkin was healthy and he would have played the first 2 games," it's a different story. No, like, your team was trash. The Regs were a joke. Like, they didn't want to be here. They can check out after 4 days. Like, give me a break. That's embarrassing. That's exactly what the NHL didn't want to see out of this 24 teams. Like, they looked as disinterested as it gets.
I know. They just, like, Panarin got there, and like, he wasn't the guy who was holding on to the puck and making plays. Like, the amount of like blind passes he seemed to throw, or like where he just like spin and fire and hope that the pass would get through. And then Zibanejad, I don't know really what his deal was. He was just kind of wheeling around. But, like, Carolina, man, like, they have one of the best lines in the league. Like, their first line was Svechnikov, who's, like, already a stud, but, like, going to be a top guy in the league for a long time. Aho, who's 23, and Teravainen, who's, like, 25 or 26. And then on the back end, Slavin got Norris votes this year. Dougie Hamilton's still hurt. They got Vatanen, and then their goalies, like, I think everybody's like, I'm not sure about the Mrazek-Reimer system, and maybe you still aren't, but, like, they both played pretty well in the 3 games.
But their style of hockey only goes so far, and that's exactly what was proved last year in playoffs. And I don't mind them as a team. I mean, I'll rip on them because, you know, it's just a silly organization like hockey, North Carolina, all the stuff they do after the games. Like, it's just an unconventional system with what they do. Also, I mean, they're the biggest joke in the league for getting rid of John Forsland. I'm sorry. But, like, he's the best play-by-play guy in maybe all of the entire States. And they're going to, like, dish him out to save a couple of bucks. Like, Tom Dundon, you cheap prick. Like, he bought it and sold or whatever, a football league.
In the XFL, or whatever that was.
Yeah, what a joke. I don't know. Yeah. Like, you know, I thought he had a funny interview on Cam and Stricken, so I was like, maybe this guy's not bad. And then he does that. Like, give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I also think with Carolina, though, like, you said, it's the same as last year, but this year they actually have, like, a little more depth up front, and that hurt them against Boston, where now they got Trocheck, who doesn't look like the 30-whatever goal scorer he was in Florida, but, like, he's still an upgrade over what they had, and that Natchez is a year older, and he's a good player, and I think that they made some good moves, and then Fogel's older, and then they got Morgan Geekie in there, too, and I don't know, they surprised me with how good they were, and I know it's just the Rangers, and the Rangers were, like, an 11 seed, but still.
Like, but, like, they were like an 11 seed that played terrible. I don't know. I guess we'll see who Carolina faces before I start ripping them once again. Alrighty, Florida, like, any chance of coming back? Like, the Isles played exactly how I expected them to play, and Florida just has had no juice. Like, they look like they forgot their pre-workout at home, or, you know,
they've been weird all year.
They're a hot and cold team, of course, but, like, this is a team who has potential, who has talent, who has, you know, an expensive-ass goaltender in net. They've got good D-men, they've got good forwards, and they've just got a horrible team chemistry.
Yeah, that's what they just, like, Quenneville got there, and him and Trocheck didn't get along, and they traded their second-line center for, like, a third-liner and a fourth-liner, and it was just, like, a weird season for them with everything that went on, and I don't know. And, like, you want to talk about a team that style only gets you so far, talk about the Islanders, because you can't win every game 2-0 or 2-1, and, like, they're good, and I respect what they do, but, like, they'll win a series, but eventually, like, they'll just get overpowered by somebody. But yeah, Florida was kind of turning into a joke, and the goalie, man, like, he played, I don't know how many, like, I followed the Panthers, like, a little bit, just, like, with Barkov being one of my favorites.
You just love Barkov.
Yeah, with him being one of my favorites, but, like,
I'm sure you've got, like, those fat head posters of Barkov in your room right now still. If you could.
No.
You'd have a Barkov sticker in your vehicle. On the bumper sticker.
Yeah, I don't think
Barkov's
they make
number one
stickers
fan.
Even. No, like, it was, I don't think I could count on my hand the amount of games where I was like, wow, Bobrovsky played well. Like, there's a game late in the year where they lost to Columbus in a shootout that was like a 2-1 game, but, like, he did not have a good year, and I don't know what his deal was. And now they're talking about cutting costs there, where they're like, yeah, I don't think we'll keep Hoffman and Dadonov. It's like, so you're replacing 65 goals with an 890 goalie, like.
Better get ready to draft some good scorers here in the fourth round.
They haven't done that in a while.
Okay, moving along. I guess, what percentage would you give Florida to come back here against the Isles? Like, a serious percentage.
Like, I'll give them, like, 15. Like, if Bobrovsky plays like he did in the playoffs last year, sure, and if the Islanders, because like realistically, like one squeaky goal on Greiss or Varlamov, and it's like you could win that game because like the Islanders aren't going to score more than once or twice. Yeah.
I was thinking 10.
Yeah.
At first number that came to my mind was 5, and I was like, maybe that's a little low. It's only 3 games. It really is. The Isles still aren't a team that like impresses me beyond belief.
No.
But yeah, okay, no, that's fair. Okay, one of the more exciting series, honestly, in the East, Montreal and Pittsburgh. Like, I mean, this was a series where we obviously knew it's Carey Price versus the entire Penguins. And so far, he has made it a series, honestly. You know, I had the Pens winning in 4, and that very well could happen. But, dude, were you surprised that Montreal showed up for Game 1 and took it?
Yeah, like, not... But it's weird with Montreal, too, because we talked about their lack of depth and how they're basically missing an entire first line somewhere. But they're like Duran and Max Domi have been terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like they haven't been good, and it's like Nick Suzuki scoring goals, and like
that Kotkaniemi's been good.
Kotkaniemi has been good, and like he's still like 25 pounds away from being a real impact player, but like they're going up against Crosby and Malkin, and they just like Duran and Domi have been bad, and obviously Domi got there late for good reason and stuff, but it's just like Duran turns the puck over every time he touches it, basically, and you're just relying on Price and net.
Yeah, sounds like the Montreal Canadiens right there.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh, I think, like, I don't know if they flipped a switch last game, but it's just like, okay, like Crosby and Malkin, and then Gensel comes back after he was supposed to be out for the year, and Brian Rust is all of a sudden like a 70-point guy, and Connor Sheary goes from being a fourth liner in Buffalo to riding on Crosby's wing, and he's good.
Matt Murray's shoving it to you. You must hate to see him have success.
It's not like a ton of success. Like he's been okay. He hasn't been. And after Game 1, like I mean, it's not like he played bad. He's getting his head called for it by some Penguins fans.
Pens fans are ruthless. Okay, last one I gotta ask you about. Leafs and Columbus. Like, this has been such a boring series. And everyone today, like, I mean, you send out, like, the Kadri and Tavares tweet, and everyone's like, oh, this backfired. It's like, hey, Tavares had 1 goal in what? It was 3-0 hockey game? Is that really... is that worth $11 million? Is that worth $11 million? And it wasn't even, like... Okay, it wasn't a bad breakaway goal, but like it's still a chintzy 5-hole breakaway goal. I don't know. Like
like it's a breakaway. Like anybody could have got a breakaway. Like it's not like he like went out of his way to like create something and win them the game.
Yeah,
like,
if he scores an OT winner, double overtime, like great individual effort, okay. But like Jeff Petry's goal is 1,000,000 times more impressive than what John Tavares did.
No, Tavares just look. I've said it for basically ever since the contract was signed. Like you're spending an extra $6.5 million, I believe, because Kadri was at 4.5, and you're turning. So when Tavares got there, you're turning Kadri, who's a 30-goal guy, into a 17-goal guy, and you don't have a better defense. You don't have anywhere else to put the money, and obviously, like Kadri did what he did in the playoffs, but at the same time, it's like he's a very good second-line center behind Matthews.
Yeah, that's probably a fair point. Who do you see winning this one? Like, I picked Leafs in 5, but I do see Columbus being able to pull it out. I feel like they have a better chance than I originally gave them, even though I did have this going 5. But I really don't hate the way they're playing. They just got to start popping a few in.
Yeah, I'm still going to say Leafs in 5. Like Tortorella just said, the Leafs were good and we sucked today, and I mean, it was a close game for a large part of it. And look, Columbus, like you probably heard this today, where like Zach Werenski and Seth Jones like are probably the best defensive pair in the league, or top 3. And like both goaltenders are very good. And like all it takes is like one Freddie Anderson Game 7 performance, which he's had against Boston, to really turn it. And Columbus wants to play a 2-0 game, and if they're getting the saves and if they're locking it down, then who knows? And like all it takes is, as you saw in game one, like one squeaky goal to win you the game. It's not like the Leafs are playing terrible. It's just they had to do a better job getting to the middle of the ice, and Columbus isn't going to allow them.
Okay, now we are going a little bit long, but I got 2 more questions I wanted to ask you. I just have to get these out there. It's a touchy one, but the Muzzin cross-check by Pierre-Luc Dubois, our good friend Ken Campbell, just the best writer in the world, and just loves the World Hockey Report. Okay, he was complaining. He goes, okay, that's all Dubois' fault. Like, if the NHL is to call cross-checking by the rules, like, this wouldn't have happened. I got to get your point because, as a former player, myself too, if they're going to call every single cross-check like that, like, there's going to be, 50 penalties a game? It's going to be stupider than it already is. But, like, okay, from your play, walk me through. What do you see on it? Because as I see, it's a fluke incident. Like, he gets cross-checked to the ground, and then he, like, catches an edge and goes, like, flying forward and gets his neck, like, twisted on, I don't know whose leg it was. Like, I really don't feel like the cross-check was the tipping point in that play. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you can agree with this as well as, like, we hope Muzzin's not seriously hurt. Like, end of the day, you never want to see someone get hurt at all. But to say that this, like, to put this all on Dubois or someone for that incident, I don't know. I think that's unfair.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, like the most, I think you'd say this too, the most dangerous spot in hockey is like 5 feet away from the boards, right?
100%. Where Landeskog crushed Buddy the other night on the Blues.
Yeah, like it's a dangerous spot, and like when you're going in there, you're not like, I'm gonna push this guy head first in the boards. It's like, I'm gonna give him like a little push on the pants to maybe like make him not turn as sharp, so he kind of like rides himself like into the boards, right? Just to, like, cut him off a bit. And like I think that's the style, and like we've seen how many like little guys get the Johnny Gaudreau slash on the hands and give it a shake and get a call. And even there's a penalty yesterday in the Jets and Flames game where Backlund pushes Lowry in the back, like gives him a little cross check, and Lowry folds, and it's a penalty. It's like, if you're going to call every one of those, there's going to be 15 power plays per team in the game. Like, nobody's going to play 5-on-5. And even yesterday in the Edmonton game, like, how many of those were actual penalties in the second period? And Connor McDavid, who had a hat trick through the first half of the game, he's played 11 minutes through the first 2 periods. Like, how does that make any sense? And it's bad for the league because it gets the Stars for the one team off the ice. Like, I guess it's power plays and scoring, but it's like, not every one of those gets to be called. And obviously Dubois didn't mean to do that. It's just, it's an awkward play, like, right? Like hockey, like, you never know how you're going to fall, and you've seen it before where you just, like, your neck gets kinked up weird, and thankfully it sounds like he's going to be okay, but, like, it's not intentional, and that's what everybody's saying with the Tkachuk one, too. It's like, you're going in there, it happens so fast, you give a guy a little push or a little shot, or, like, your skate bounces up or something, like, it's just going so fast, but that you're not going to slow it down to like a frame-by-frame thing.
That Tkachuk one was a joke, and it was just a bunch of people who had never played the game, like, ripping on it. Like, look at what any former player had said, and, like, anyone who's actually played the game at a half-decent level, like, everyone was on the exact same page with that. So, I mean...
No, I think everybody had the same view, but all these, like, little slashing penalties on the hands, like, look, it hurts to get a slash on the top of your finger, but if you're cutting across and you get slashed on the hands, like, what do you want a guy to do? Like, stick check you? And like, it's, I don't know. It's a hockey play that doesn't need to be called every time, especially if the guy doesn't even lose possession of the puck. And like, you're allowed to, like, tap a guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like if that's what is setting you off, like those little slashes or hooks, like, hockey's probably not the sport for you. And I'm not, well, I guess honestly, I'd rather see them swallow the whistle and call 2 penalties all game versus, call every single little thing. But there also comes a point in time, and hey, if something's egregious, yes, call it by all means. But also, like, it's playoffs. I don't want special teams to determine a playoff game. I want 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah. I
want it hard. I want it fast. I want guys getting slashed. I want guys getting punched in the face. Like, that's all part of playoffs. Anyone who's played hockey, it's hard for me to speak, I guess, for a kid nowadays. But, when I played, I'm sure even when you played competitive too, like, man, those are the games, like, if you can beat the absolute wheels off of your opponent to help you win, that that feels so good. That's what hockey's about, right?
Yeah,
so
like that's why St. Louis won last. It's not like St. Louis was fighting and being dirty last year. It's just like you play hard and in some cases,
win.
if you play too hard, like it's gonna get called weird, like different. It kind of depends.
Yeah, like Ferland pitchforking a bench. That's a little bit too hard. We can tone it back.
Exactly.
That's like mini on the board there. Okay, last one for you though. Jeez, we're at over 30 minutes. Not a problem though. Hey, we'll make time. Adam Ermintrout, our guest here. We'll talk your report. The broadcast, Sportsnet NBC obviously doing it. We've got these weird new camera angles. We don't have any fans. The announcing has been, the announcing. I honestly don't have any real problems with the play-by-play, but like there's some of the hosting and stuff that seems
the Sportsnet broadcast, like the intermissions.
They I don't know, like there's some of that they just seem so disinterested. Like have some emotion. Like I hate that they're at home. I don't get it. Like here's my COVID rant of the day, and I totally understand. Like this is all valid, but could they not have these people in studio socially distant or physically distant?
I know, that's what I was thinking too. And it's
what a joke.
I love Colby Armstrong. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. But
Arm Dog's a beauty.
He's got a chalkboard behind him that says like the game that's on. It's like it'd look a lot better. It'd look a lot better if you're in the studio and all that. And look, I think it's been pretty good. Like just like with no fans and like the team, like there's been hits and fights and like guys are clearly invested. It's just like the hat thing was really stupid yesterday, and McDavid basically said that. The broadcasts have been good. Like I like what they've done with the arena setup and all that. It's just I don't know.
That one camera angle has to go. That's Thursday night football right there. Like half the play gets cut off. It's all over the map, and I don't know. Like it just makes me sick.
And it looks like every shot's going in from over top, where it's like, and it misses the net by 20 feet, but you can't tell because you're looking at it from above.
Oh man, gotta love it. Alrighty, buddy. Hey, I appreciate you jumping on the show. We're gonna get you on I guess we still got a few more games. Obviously, if these are going to 5. We'll be playing late into probably into next weekend. I don't even know, when's the 11th? The 11th is Tuesday. Isn't that when actual playoffs start?
I think so. Yeah. So I mean, like a lot of teams are going to be done by the weekend, right?
Okay. I guess. Well, then next week we're going to be breaking down round 1 of playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you then.
Awesome. See you, man.
Adam Ermintrout, what a great guest there, of course. Hey, we got to wrap this one up quick. MyBookie.ag, use promo code 120ZSports. We also got our Wits Nutrition and Performance question of the day. Top goalie in the playoffs, Matt Naif goes with Corpus Salo, Jay Penders, Freddie, Rick Calder, Freddie as well. Hit us up on Twitter with your thoughts at World Hockey RPT. Hey, we've also got a couple of picks. We got like 30 seconds here. Hey, if you want the realest, transparent, most consistent NHL camper on Twitter, look no further than Philly Pete. Go check him out at The Real Pete Tuck. That's Tucc at the end there. Go hit him up. I got 2 bets for you today. Let's start off with the late one. Oilers money line puck line, plus 180 there. And as well, it's a round robin game, but I do like Tampa Bay minus 105 on the money line to beat Boston. I don't see Boston having that exactly yet. Alrighty, Pete's Power Plays is up next. I believe he's going to be recapping some hockey from tomorrow. We'll probably got a bunch more bets for you today. Of course, Pete's Power Plays right here on 12 Ounce Sports. Until next week, take care.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wednesday, August 5th, 2020 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only king of the ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. This show, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie. When making an account with MyBookie, first and foremost, please go to mybookie.ag, sign up with an account from MyBookie, and make sure you use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. That's 12OZ Sports, all one word, today when making your account, and they will deposit your first. They will deposit your first account up to $1,000. So they will match it up to $1,000. That is a lot of money to get matched up on. So I highly recommend you go to mybookie.ag, signing up an account with MyBookie, and making sure you use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. That's 12OZ Sports. Once again, all one word. You really don't want to be missing your chance to be cashing out all these phenomenal plays that we can provide to you. Not only mine, but you have a bunch of other cappers on 12 Ounce Sports that is more than willing to cash you out with the best, because we are the best in the business when it comes to capping sports. So, once again, mybookie.ag, 12 Ounce Sports is the promo code, and they will match your first deposit up to $1,000. Sign up today. You won't be disappointed. They have everything. Sports are back, ladies and gentlemen. They also have a casino as well, soccer betting, whatever it may be. Please use MyBookie today. Also, Zingo TV, channel 761. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen out there tuning in out in the West and in the East, make sure you turn the channel 761 on your TV for Zingo TV, and you will hear my lovely voice right now as I am talking to you live for the Wednesday, August 5th episode of Pete's Power Plays. If you don't have Zingo TV, I highly recommend you do. To do so, download the app on your smart TV, and then when doing so, make sure you add an account on the website. When making an account, make sure you use the promo code 12OUNCE, 12OZ, simple as that, and you will be good to go. You can stream all of our phenomenal shows that we have for you on 12 Ounce Sports. So, again, tune in to Zingo TV, channel 761, live right now, and again, my lovely voice is talking to you all right now. So, real quick, let's get us into AEW Dynamite preview real quick. I know we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to go over between yesterday's plays and today's plays. We already have a play kicking off with the Panthers and the New York Islanders. Real quick, those that did not get my play, I have a Panthers Coyotes moneyline parlay at plus 350, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be a very fun parlay to have. Again, of course, it's a one-unit play like usual, but this is going to be a fun parlay. I like this a lot. Panthers are on the brink of elimination. They need to win this game. Coyotes are due for a bounce-back game as well. So I like the two there. You could also single out the plus 1.5 for both on the puck line. Take the Coyotes plus 1.5 from the puck line, parlay that with the Panthers puck line at plus 1.5. You will get a plus 110 payout. Again, this is positive odds that I'm giving to you, all you guys and ladies out there, for some parlay action this afternoon. If you want to go plus 1, if you want Coyotes plus 1 on the goal line and the Panthers plus 1 on the goal line, that pays out plus 180. So most of the books have that as well. So whatever it may be, for me personally, I love the moneyline parlay at plus 350. You're getting the biggest bang for your buck. And if you want to play it safe, the plus 1.5 for the Panthers puck line and the plus 1.5 for the Coyotes puck line still pays out positive money if you want to play it safe and go that route. So whatever you want to do, there you have it. I also like the over 5 goals as well in this game. So there you have it. That's the first game of the day for Philly Pete. I will get you all the rest of the plays later on this afternoon once my show is over. And clients that signed up this morning, you have your plays. You're good to go. Congratulations. And thank you for signing up as well. A bunch of you have signed up for the combination package of the hockey NHL playoffs and the daily fantasy football for DraftKings and FanDuel. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I have 3 packages. Most of you all are just interested in one or the two, either the NHL package or the daily fantasy package. I have you all signed up for that. And some of you are all in on the package 3, which is a combination of both. So those that want to reach out and get involved with Philly Pete and my VIP client list, please make sure you send me a DM today. I have been going balls to the wall with each and every one of you out there that has been DMing me in regards. So those that did, I will get to you guys as soon as the show's over, and we'll get you started for this afternoon's card. So real quick, AEW Dynamite, we have an action-packed match, or I should say about 4 or 5 matches tonight, one including a AEW Championship contention belt match. We have, first and foremost, we have Matt Cardona, a.k.a. the Zack Ryder of WWE, with Cody versus the Dark Order of John Silver and Alex Reynolds. To me, this is going to be a good match. I don't see Dark Order winning this. They have been slacking lately. I do like Cody and help him on the side with Matt Cardona. I think they're going to be a good tag team. Good tag match here tonight, and I expect Cody and Matt Cardona to win this matchup tonight. Moving on, Santana and Ortiz versus Best Friends of Trent Taylor and Chucky T. This is going to be a great, gruesome match. I love this match. I can't wait tonight to see this. We saw Santana and Ortiz. They've been on a little bit of a tear right now. But I think, Best Friends, I think they're due for a win here as well. They need to get back up to tag team contention here. So I think Best Friends will pull off the win tonight. And we'll see what happens. Maybe Sammy Guevara gets involved, and maybe you'll see Matt Hardy come out as well. We'll see what happens. But to me, no doubt that this will be one of the matches, one of the matches of the night, one of the better matches, I should say, of the evening. So stay tuned to that. I'd like the Best Friends to move on. MJF campaign update. We know he called out Jon Moxley last week. This is just going to be more of a 5 to 10 minute promo of him bashing Moxley again. I expect MJF to fight Moxley at some point down the road, but after hearing Scorpio Sky last night on Dark, he is ready and prepared to come out too and start fighting in Dynamite. Maybe a potential MJF Scorpio Sky #1 contender match for Moxley in the future. We will see. But there's no doubt that MJF will have more to say tonight, especially as Moxley is set to defend his title against Darby Allin tonight. And, hey, he might not even be champion come September, so we will see what happens. The 12-man tag match, this is going to be phenomenal. The Elite, Nick and Matt Jackson, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, and FTR versus Dark Order, Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, number 5, and number 10. This is going to be an insane match. This is the second time in one night the Dark Order expected to use the numbers advantage for their gain, and for the second time, an unexpected foe thwarted their plans as FTR attacked Brody Lee with a cooler filled with ice and beer, but the Elite and FTR stood tall. This is a story of 3 teams all united by their hatred of the Dark Order. It's also noted, though, that this marks the second time that the Young Bucks and FTR are on the same side, which could have some explosive results. There's still a lot about the Dark Order that is unknown, but one thing is for certain, they'll have the opportunity to stir up some trouble with surprises of their own come Wednesday night. I'm going to take a chance here and say that the Dark Order wins this matchup tonight. We know that FTR is going to fight the Young Bucks at some point. Omega has had some heel turnish gimmicks lately in the past couple weeks now, and I expect to see a little bit more of that this evening. So give me the Dark Order to win this matchup tonight. Next up, Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy in their debate with a mystery moderator. Who knows who the hell it could be? It could be Stone Cold. It could be The Rock. That would be phenomenal, but it's not going to happen. But, listen, it's all meant to set up their rematch next week, which will definitely win the Wednesday night demo. So this is going to be a good segment. This is going to be a good segment tonight. I highly anticipate this. And again, next week they do have a rematch. So be ready for a fun debate. Whoever the mystery moderator is, it's going to be fun regardless. You have 2 of the best characters in AEW between Orange Cassidy and the Le Champion, Chris Jericho. Now, the last match of the night, the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. This is going to be a good match. We saw last week Mox and Darby Allin tag team tornado match last week versus Cage and Ricky Starks. Everything you had expected to be. And of course, here we have it right now. Darby Allin's 23 years old, wrestles with the same level of reckless abandonment as Moxley did in his early career. Mox is still capable of the hardcore and danger-defying spots. No one in AEW is much of a risk taker as Darby Allin, though, on the other side. This is going to be a very awesome match tonight. A lot of daredevils in this match. Crazy action here tonight. Mox is still undefeated and has an incredible draw for AEW, but someone is bound to give Mox his first loss. It could be Darby Allin, but I don't think it's going to happen tonight. I love Jon Moxley to retain. He's going to end up fighting MJF. And listen, don't be surprised if MJF does win the belt at some point and give it Mox his first loss. Either way, all eyes will be on this one, including, of course, like I said, MJF, who will no doubt will get a look at the man he'll be facing for the title at All Out. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my AEW Dynamite preview for tonight. Let us get into the action, but first and foremost, again, my show is Pete's Power Plays, August 5th episode. Thank you all for tuning in. West Side, East Side, let's get into it. MyBookie.ag, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce sports when signing up, and they will match your first deposit up to $1,000. And Zingo TV, make sure you download the app. And when doing so, make sure you create an account on the site. Make sure you use the promo code 12ounce120Z, and you'll be streaming all of our phenomenal shows on 12-Ounce Sports, including yours truly, the king of the ice himself, Philly Pete. And we are live again on 12-Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. Another phenomenal episode of Pete's Power Plays underway. Yesterday, we had a pretty solid outing last night. Can't complain there whatsoever. Clients did pretty good. And what can I say? I mean, this is how we're going to keep rolling. That's how we're going to keep rolling nonstop. Well, first and foremost, let us get into the action for last night. Clients had the Wild and Canucks over 5. That was a winner. The Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes over 5.5, which was a terrible, terrible beat. Rangers scored the first goal in the first couple seconds of the second period. How could they not score another one? That would have been a nice over to cash out for the Clients. But unfortunately, it did not happen. That's how the cookie crumbles. Predators over 5 was a winner. Leafs moneyline live at -170 was a winner as well. And the Panthers in the early game was a loss. So Clients go 3-2. That's fine. They'll take the winning evening. Now, Twitter plays. Twitter plays did have a decent solid. Besides the early game, which once again was a little, I love having, parlays that pay out, 3 or 4 to 1 or 2 to 1 even. So Panthers +1.5 on the goal line and the over 5 parlay at +170. Of course, that did not cash because the Panthers once again tend to choke on their leads. However, if you singled out the over 5, that was a winner. And then the nightcap, or the rest of the plays, we had the Predators money line, that was a winner. Jackets puck line, Rangers puck line parlay, that was a loser. Rangers money line at +130, of course, was a loser. Bye-bye Rangers, and now they have a chance to get Lafreniere with the number 1 overall pick. How great would that be for New York fans coming in the next year, getting Lafreniere and possibly going on to the Stanley Cup? We will see when the time happens, but to me, they were absolutely dreadful this playoffs. They showed no heart, and hey, the consolation prize is Lafreniere. So we'll see what happens. What better place to be than in a New York Rangers outfit or jersey, whatever it may be for Lafreniere. The fans will go nuts. Who knows? But they're in contention now for the number 1 overall pick. Flames money line was a winner. They bounced back. Canes Rangers over first period. That was a loss. Absolutely incredible goaltending by 2 backup goalies. Hey, you win some, you lose some, like I say. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It happens in the NHL. But outrageous saves between the left and the right, it's just how it is, So kudos to both backup goaltenders in that game. Leafs Jackets live over 2.5 goals. That was a winner. I also had the first period over Wild Canucks over 1.5. That was a winner as well. Once again, I'm so sorry that it did not post for some reason. We had some terrible storms after the hurricane that we had, and it did not get out in time. However, that was still a winner. And then the nightcap, the Wild money line was a loss as well. So again, you hit or miss with these things, but that's what happens. So moving on real quick. Again, we are underway, 3 minutes into the game. Islanders 0, Florida 0. And again, I do have the Panthers money line with the Coyotes money line parlay at +350. Also, if you want to single out the goal line, +1.5 for Florida, +1.5 for Arizona. A parlay with that as well pays you +110. You're still getting positive outcome there with money. So there you have it there. Florida's on the brink of elimination, and I really, truly think that Florida they have no choice. Bob needs to play his best goaltending in this game today in order for Florida to survive and advance. That's all it is, survive and advance. But unfortunately, they got to win 3 in a row to advance. So let's start with one game here. Let's go Florida. Hopefully a bounce back game. Let's get this, and let's get the over 5 goals as well. So that's my take with Florida. Moving on, Nashville and Arizona. I do, like I said, I'll say it again, I do like Arizona on the money line. I also like Arizona puck line at +1.5. This team kind of just, they were flat yesterday, and they basically got shut out for the rest of the game, besides the last 2 minutes of the game where they scored, and they scored with 30 seconds left. I think Arizona truly does bounce back in this situation here. This is a good 1-1 series matchup, and I just think Arizona, they'll clean up the kinks that they had, and I think they come out as victorious in this game here. I also like the over 5. We saw the overs have been hitting in this game the first 2 times. Nashville 5-5 in their last 10. Arizona 6-3-1 their last 10. The first 2 of the series have gone over. I'm going over again with the low number of 5. You have to take 5. When you see a 5, Philly Pete's all over a 5 regardless. Regardless, just hope for the push. Hey, if you get 2-2, you're automatically set for a push. That's all you ask for when it comes to an over-under at 5. So, over 5, and I'm all over Arizona today. Moving on with the seeding, the round robin seeding matchup coming up. You have Boston and Tampa Bay Lightning. Over-under set at 5.5. I like the under 5.5 in this game, and I do truly think that Tampa, just the way that they have been playing lately, Boston, I just think, against the Flyers, they got outplayed, and at the end of the day here, this is just for seeding. I may or may not have plays for this today, but again, this show is strictly for angles, breakdowns, and, just angles and breakdowns and leans that I like. So personally, as coming from a lean, Tampa is +105 as a dog. I do like them to win this game here today. I like Tampa on the money line. I'm going to go under 5.5. Some books are at 6. Again, when I do this show, I bring up about 10 books that I have, and I go with the majority. So the majority is about 7 books have 6. The other 4 books have 5.5. So for me, this will be an under 6 play for me, and I like the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line at +105 as well when they play Boston this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Next up at 6:30 p.m., you have the Colorado Avalanche. Again, the round robin seeding versus the Dallas Stars. Another tough matchup here. And hey, listen, if you want to take unders, I feel like this round robin seeding is the way to go when it comes to unders. Besides the Dallas and Vegas game that we saw the other night, I do really think that we're gonna say I feel like this is gonna be another under situation here. Colorado, Dallas, I like the under 6. Again, these games on these books are at 6 goals. If you get 6, take the under. Even if it's at 5.5, I still like the under. This is gonna be a low-scoring game here. I do like Dallas in a way to bounce back at the +115. If you're feeling a little insane here, like me, take Dallas on the puck line at +1.5, and Tampa Bay on the puck line as well, +1.5. You're going to be getting some positive. You're going to get about +105 to +110. So if it's any sort of plays from these qualifying matches, for these round robin games, I'm going Dallas puck line, Tampa puck line, +1.5 each, parlay at +110. That will be the worst case scenario for me because it's really tough to draw these out. I'm going to go with the under 6 in this game and the under first period of 1.5. That's what I'm leaning here in this Dallas-Colorado game. Under 1.5 first period, under 6 in this game, and of course I'm going to go Dallas small on the money line, but my more confident lean here is the puck line with Dallas and Tampa +1.5 respectively, which should pay you out +110 on that puck line parlay. Moving on, Pittsburgh and Montreal qualifying game, over-under set at 5.5 here. Montreal +150 and Pittsburgh -170. 75% of the money heading into Pittsburgh's direction here on the money line at -170. You know what? This is calling an over 5.5. I know the unders have been hitting in this series so far, and I think we're due for one. Both teams are 5-5 in their last 10 when it comes to the overs. And, I just think that Pittsburgh is due for an explosion. Same with, Montreal is due for a couple goals this game. Pittsburgh's always due for goals. I just feel like they've been playing so nonchalant in this series so far. That's why the series is 1-1. Otherwise, it simply would be 2-0 Pittsburgh, no problem. But Montreal's nothing to lose here. And at the end of the day, I do like Pittsburgh to advance. To win this game here tonight. But the -170 is too juicy for Philly Pete. If you are that high roller and you want to take Pittsburgh on the money line, take it. I love it. But my play here is going to be the over 5.5 between Pittsburgh and Montreal. I do see some goals coming in this game. And not only am I liking Pittsburgh, though, if I'm taking Pittsburgh money line, I am going to be parlaying with Edmonton. Look what happened the other night, ladies and gentlemen. Edmonton, Pittsburgh parlay, money line parlay, cashed us out at plus 175. So, you know what Philly Pete's going to be doing? I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. Pittsburgh money line, Edmonton money line on the parlay. I believe that pays out the same odds, if not more. So, I'm all over Pittsburgh. I'm all over Edmonton. But in a parlay again for the money line, let's check this out real quick. I'm going to go into this and just see what it's going to be like with the money line parlay between those two. So, as you have it right here, yeah, there you go. So, Pittsburgh, Edmonton, money line parlay pays out plus 185. And there you go. That's going to be a Philly Pete special right there. I like it. I'm thinking that these two teams will take the 2-1 lead tonight. Expect Chicago to keep playing Chicago hockey. It's going to be close. And Chicago's gonna come back. We know that they lost 6-3 the other night, but Pittsburgh on the money line with the Edmonton money line parlay plus 185. I am digging that. I like the over 5.5 as well for the Pittsburgh and Canadians. And to round out the last game of the night, 10:30 over under set at 6. Some books are at 6.5. The over 6 though is at minus 125. The 6.5 is at minus 110. So again, I go with majority when I look at my books here, and 8 out of the 10 books have over 6 at minus 130. Some at minus 125. The 6.5s are at minus 110, minus 105. Well, again, the series have been going over and over and over. And listen, it's going to continue again tonight. Chicago, Edmonton, over 6 I'm taking here tonight, and the over first period in this goal, over first period 1.5 in this game as well. We've been cashing that out the first 2 games. I want to keep riding it. I want to keep riding the over 1.5 goals again in this series. So first 2 cashed. Game 3, well, let's go. Philly Pete's doing it again for everybody. Edmonton, Chicago, over 1.5 first period goals, over 6 full game over goals. Let's cash that out. Edmonton on the parlay money line with Pittsburgh. And listen, if you want to, 65% of the money is on Edmonton's money line at minus 135 here tonight. It makes a lot of sense here. Now, if you want to take a little chance here, I would consider a half unit parlay on the Chicago money line with the Montreal Canadiens money line, just to like hedge it out a little bit, just for a little bit of fun. And between that, it's a plus 420 money line parlay. So if you want to go crazy, if this parlay this afternoon hits between Arizona and Florida, you might see me taking a little half unit shot here, just for giggles, just for craps and giggles here. Chicago Blackhawks on the money line with the Montreal money line parlay for a small quarter to half unit plus 420 is phenomenal odds. So, but again, my stronger lean here is still going to be Edmonton, Pittsburgh. Moneyline parlay at plus 185. Montreal, Chicago, if you want to play that crazy dog parlay, does pay out plus 420. Now, if you want to play it safe here, take Chicago puck line and the Habs puck line, well, plus 120. So, again, you're still getting a little bang for your buck. $100 pays you $120 when you do the puck line. If you want to play it safe rather than the little underdog parlay at plus 420, you will get plus 120 when you do the puck line there. So, once again, Edmonton and Chicago also 5-5 for Edmonton in the last 10 overs. Chicago 7-3, their last 10 on the overs. And now, little smart stat with Edmonton on the puck line. They are 26-11 in their last 37 games, including the other night's game. So that tacked on an extra one. So Edmonton has been covering the puck line. Obviously, we know that. Chicago 17-17 in their last 34. Obviously, they failed to do so last game. So, in conclusion, let me run this over real quick. We have 0-0 in the Florida Islanders game. I do have the over 5. I have Florida. If you singled out Florida plus 1.5 on the goal line and Florida money line, there you have it there. I'm all over Arizona in game 2 at 2:30. I have Arizona plus 1.5, the money line, and the over 5 there when they play Nashville. Tampa Bay and Boston. I have Tampa on the money line. I have the under 6 in this game as well. and a small little unit play, about another half unit on the under first period there as well. The parlay between Tampa and Dallas. Also, the puck lines plus 1.5 and plus 1.5 for Dallas and Tampa Bay on the parlay that pays you out at plus 150, 160-ish is what I'm seeing here. So that would be a safe outing parlay if need be. I like them to cover the 1.5 goals, and I also like them to win straight up. So, listen, take your shot, whatever it may be. The Dallas-Colorado game under 6, under first period, 1.5 goals as well. And, of course, like I said, Dallas to cover the goal line and small unit on the money line for Dallas. Pittsburgh, Montreal, over 5.5 there. Pittsburgh on the money line, of course. I like Montreal as a little side bet to cover the goal line at plus 1.5. And Edmonton, of course, Edmonton money line. Chicago to cover the goal line at plus 1.5. And the over 6 and the over first period 1.5. I know it's a lot to digest, but this is why you listen to this show. And that's why I tweet out my final plays for you all. So, and then, of course, Pittsburgh, Edmonton, moneyline parlay that pays plus 185. Chicago, Montreal, dog parlay at plus 420 on the money lines. And if you want to play it safe again, Chicago puck line, Montreal puck line at plus 1.5. That pays you out at plus 120. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the plays for today. Clients, make sure you guys get I will make sure you guys get your plays out this afternoon. You have one pending currently with the Islanders-Florida game, and you will have another one for the Nashville-Arizona game, so stay tuned to that. New clients that just signed up this morning, you will get your plays. Obviously, as soon as this show's over, I am going 1 billion miles per hour to make sure everyone gets their plays, and they are locked and loaded for this afternoon. Also, those that signed up for my daily fantasy football package, well, welcome aboard. You are joining a handful of other clients of mine that have been. Most of these clients that I had were from last year when I started doing daily fantasy football, and we've been in the green all season, and we continue to do so this year. Again, it's going to be different with the COVID going on, but however, nothing will ever change this. So, those that signed up for daily fantasy football, welcome aboard. Let's get some money this season. And once again, those that want to be a client, reach out to me at the Real Pete Tooch. You search up PT. I'm one of the first guys there. You can't miss me there. Any questions or answers in regards to whether it's fantasy football? I am a fantasy football guru. I usually go about 6 or 7 fantasy football leagues, and within the last 7-8 years, I've been winning in at least 5 of the 7 leagues that I am in. So it comes a long way, and again. When it comes to the cream of the crop of fantasy football, I am the top guy. So anything in general, anything sports related when it comes to Penn State football, any sort of Philly sports, fantasy football in general, any strategy you guys may need, you get at me. I will give you the best research and possibilities when it comes to drafting the best team this year in fantasy football, and of course your lineups. NHL fans that want to that want to sign up for a package as well. Again, DM me. I've had traffic is insane for me right now. So again, just bear with me after this show. I will get to you as soon as I can. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have an amazing Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. I will be back tomorrow to talk again more hockey. And that's it. That's it for me. So once again, 0-0 in this Florida Panthers game. Let's go Panthers. Let's get that over. And I hope everyone has a phenomenal day. Let's cash out large today. And I will be back tomorrow. Stay safe. Stay sane. And have a great day. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.